You ever just realize you're kind of old and decide to do something nostalgic? No? Well, I did, because lately I've been really missing old Lego games. And I mean the old ones, like Batman, Complete Saga, Indiana Jones. So when I found out that PlayStation re-uploaded the Lego Star Wars 2, I thought, it's not the Complete Saga, but it'll take it. And for all you Americans out there that are like, you can emulate PS3 games and whatnot, you can't in Australia. Our country sucks low-key sometimes. Just how it is. So after quickly thanking God for PlayStation Plus, let's get into LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. And with 30 trophies including the Platinum, let's see what it's like. Now, PlayStation profiles had it a 2 out of 10 difficulty, which is most LEGO games, but 4 goddamn playthroughs. And I didn't look at this before I started, so I went in thinking it'd be 2 at most, and my god, I was wrong. But for now, let's start at the beginning. So let's start with episode 4, A New Hope. A bit of context to some of the older LEGO games though, and that is that there's 3 stories in this, obviously being from the 3 films from the original trilogy, and each story has 6 chapters plus some bonus stuff, but we'll get to that later down the video. So chapter 1, Secret Plans, and no, I will not be saying the title of every chapter every time. We see a ship getting ambushed and taken by Vader. He's evil, but you should have been able to guess that. He looks kinda scary. I, however, play as Leia. She's a princess. She gives a disc to a little blue and white droid called R2-D2. And he has a tall golden friend called C-3PO. Both droids get away on an escape pod to a sand planet called Tatooine. While Leia sadly gets captured by Vader and watches him absolutely destroy some of her fellow comrades. Meanwhile, the droids are exploring the planet until they're captured by Jawas. Who are Jawas, you ask? Well, they're droid sellers. And just like that, that's the end of chapter 1. With only 1 trophy being getting from that, and that's for getting True Jedi the first time while playing a story mode. This is one of many collectible based trophies, but we'll get more into it when we hit that phase of the Platinum journey. I promise you I will break it down as we get trophies relating to it, I swear. But now chapter 2, and the droids get bought by a boy named Luke Skywalker. He's kind of important, we'll find out later why. And then they run away, because of course they do. Luke, obviously not wanting to waste his money, goes looking for them, but gets attacked by sand people, who are people who live in the sand. Thankfully gets saved by an old man named Ben. They all head back to Ben's old place, where Ben sees a message that R2 has from the disc where Leia asks for his help, and he decides to let everyone know who he is, and who the Jedi are, and what the Force is, and how important Luke kind of is. Chapter 3, and everyone's heading into town to find someone who can get them off planet. They reach the town's bar and deal with some angry patrons. Then they meet a hairy man named Chewie and his friend Han Solo, who likes to shoot first, ask questions later. And meanwhile, Vader's just blowing up planets with the Death Star, a kind of planet moon base thing. It'll make sense next chapter. Chapter 4, and the crew run into the Death Star, that big sphere that I talked about before. And yeah, they get captured. But it's okay, because we have Stormtrooper armor and use it to trick everyone. Getting to the control room, and we find out that Princess Leia is also on board, so now it's a rescue mission. And after finally getting to the detention floor, we find the princess, and turns out she's kind of a badass. But obviously everyone watching knew that already. Chapter 5, and while being in a trash compactor and narrowly escaping being squished to death, we escape and decide it's time to leave the Death Star. While leaving the station, Ben goes off to confront Vader, but sadly sacrifices himself to let us escape. R.I.P. Ben. Chapter 6, and turns out that R2-D2's disc had plans of how to destroy the Death Star. So Luke and a bunch of other rebels fly off to destroy the Death Star. Looks like Vader's about to stop everything though with his amazing flying. Luckily Han comes in with a massive save and allows Luke to make that one important shot and destroy the Death Star. Everyone wins. And with that, we get a trophy for completing A New Hope. Story 2, The Empire Strikes Back. Chapter 1. Opening up with Luke on a snow planet named Hoth. Luke finds himself in a little bit of trouble with the local wildlife, but he handles it and meets back up with Hound. The Empire, however, do find the secret base and send a full-scale attack, which Luke and a few other rebels do try and stop for as long as they can. Sadly, it just isn't enough, so Leia, Han, and Chewie decide to leave the base and avoid being captured by the Empire. Trying to escape the Empire, Han decides that the best course of action is to go straight through an asteroid field. Now, it kind of works. Mostly. Now, for Luke, after escaping Hoth, he decides to go to a planet called Dagobah. It's kind of a swamp planet, in search of a Jedi Master named Yoda. Now, while exploring, Luke does find this little green creature, which turns out to be Yoda, and teaches him the ways of the Force. And it's going really well. Luke does, however, decide to cut the training short and leave in search of his friends after having doubts, I guess? I don't know. Like, I form it's hard to tell. Either way, Ghost Ben does not approve. Now jumping to Cloud City, Luke arrives in search of his friends to a not warm welcome, if that makes sense, and does encounter Vader. And after a quick scuffle, loses his hand. And then, the most bombshell thing of all bombshells that changed generations finds out that Vader is his father. Han and crew now arrive on Cloud City and meet up with his old friend Lando Calrissian. Sadly, Lando Kaiser betrays them and gives them up to Vader. Yikes. Han becomes more of a brick now than his Lego design, and gets taken away by Boba Fett. Thankfully though, Lando does help the rest of them escape, and they all eventually find Luke and head off the planet after escaping Vader. Again. So, kind of happy ending, but kind of not. Happy ending for me though, because that's the end of Empire Strikes Back, which means another trophy. Story number 3. Return of the Jedi. Vader arrives at the new Death Star to oversee the plans and oversee its design. While this is going on, the two droids are back on Tatooine, entering a really big palace. But it's okay, because Leia and Lando, I think it is overseeing him, so obviously there's a plan here somewhere. During the actual gameplay of this level, we also get Luke and his new digs, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of like the green saber, kind of like the black outfit, just saying. Turns out we're all here to try and get Han back, and just when we think we've done it, Jabba sends everyone down to the red carpet. And if I've said that wrong, I'm sorry, Star Wars fans, truly. And even more saddening, I sadly have to put down this beautiful, beautiful beast to win the level. Now, this level is also important and special because it's the first time I get a red brick, which is one of those collectibles I talked about a bit ago, and the first one gives me a trophy. Now, after killing the beautiful beast, Jabba sends us to another beast, this time with a Sarlacc pit, and just as we're about to jump in, Luke does some fancy diving things and the escape starts. And just as a side note, turns out Boba Fett's kind of a bitch. Just saying. Now while escaping, Leia chokes out Jabba with a chain while in a metal bikini. And I'm sure that's a searched category somewhere on the internet. Then we all escape while blowing everything the hell up. Because of course we do. Now we jump to Endor, because we have to deal with the Death Star of course. And Luke and Leia do some shit. They, of course, do said shit, and yeah, easy. Now it's time to get introduced to Ewoks, which are very little fucking creatures. And yeah, other side note is Luke leaves to go do something. I'm sure we'll figure out what it is in a bit, but yeah, exciting. Kind of. Not really, actually, because these Ewoks are really annoying. Turns out Luke's business was to go confront Vader to try and save him. It kind of doesn't go well. But of course Vader's like, no, my son, and then decides to tell Luke to take down the Emperor, the big bad of this entire series that we've only just met, because Star Wars. They both fight the Emperor, Emperor dies, Vader dies too, because he kind of sacrifices himself, but he probably could have just pushed him instead of picking him up. We won't talk about it. And yeah, RIP Vader. Now we go and destroy the Death Star again, but this time we don't have Luke, so Lando does it, and it's a bit of a boring level, so let's just say we do it, whoop-de-doo, Death Star's blown up again. Would be expensive, surely. And the galaxy is saved, woo! And then, yeah, of course, we get the trophy for finishing Return of the Jedi story mode. After the credits, we see Luke burning Vader's body, and then Anakin becomes a ghost, and yes, I'm gonna get one, because god, they make life easy for the cleanup. And then at the very end, yeah, everyone celebrates. Well, now a couple easy trophies time, and I get one for purchasing my first character. Shout out to Bosk. Obviously, wanting more trophies though, I decide to just make my own character. And yeah, I legitimately just clicked random and the trophy popped. Looking into some of the bonus content now, and some of the bonus content is the boss fights of the prequel games. So to start with is Darth Maul. RIP Qui-Gon. Now, Attack of the Clones time, and of course that means we fight Count Dooku. And he shits on Anakin. But that's okay, cause the little green man's here and Yoda kicks some ass. Third boss is Vader, and by Vader I mean evil Anakin. And yeah, honestly, still a great level, holds up to this day. Wish I could play it with a friend, but guess what, I'm lonely. Since it's the free play section now, I'll go over kind of what that entitles. So in each level, there are 10 minikits, a red brick, a challenge mode with blue minikits, but ignore that for now, and 2 true Jedis, one of which being when you play the story version of it, and one of which when you play free mode. Now, this isn't overly important for trophy-wise, except for the fact that I get my first free play true Jedi, which is a trophy, and I get my first 10 minikits in one level, which is also a trophy, but just for the first time. Now I'll go over the blue minikits, which is just a challenge mode in each level, which is you have a time limit and you need to collect blue minikits around the level, and nothing else matters. There is no objective to get money, there is no objective to finish the level, it's just you collect the 10, it's done, you get a gold brick. They're important for later. And of course, doing my first lot of 10 is a trophy. Now, after playing the entire story and a couple free play levels here and there, I have enough money to buy a ghost character. So of course I keep my promise and buy Anakin, because Yoda's slow and Obi-Wan was just a bit more expensive. And yeah, I should mention that that was a trophy too. Then I just needed some dopamine, so I went through the trophy list and found some easy ones, and one of them was buying an extra toggle. I don't know what it does, I don't know why it's a trophy, but it is. So that's all that matters. Now, more of the bonus stuff, which is each story has 3 super levels. And for the first one, the super level is playing through the entire story again, story mode style, which means all the cutscenes, and you can't skip them, and you have to do it in one playthrough. It's kill me. But there's still more, because you need to do it in under an hour, and collect 100 grand. Now, the money part isn't that hard, but the hour thing, you cut that kind of close in some levels. But of course, when finishing it, I get a trophy for doing a New Hope's version of the super level, and then a nice little bonus trophy of doing my first super level. So there's 2 good trophies there. Now, still 2 more bonus stuff, and the first one I'll talk about is the character bonus, which is just collecting 1,000,000 studs in 5 minutes. Now, the time can change in some of the levels, it depends, but this one is 5 minutes, and it's harder than you think, but at the same time, there is a strategy, but, you know, you'll figure it out if you ever do it. And yeah, there's a trophy related to it, so I'll pop that now. Woo, pop! And then next is the vehicle super level, which is the same thing, but you're in a vehicle. So yeah, here's that version of that trophy. Now, one more bonus thing to do, which there's only one of, which is nice, and that's called Lego City, which is basically just collecting 1,000,000 studs when you're in this Lego City landscape, where destroying things do it, using the force things do it. You gotta spell Lego as well, so that's fun. But yeah, once that's finished, another trophy. While doing all these bonus things and collecting money, I get 2 million in the bank, which is a trophy. So yeah, it's a nice little surprise. Feels nice to be rich. Now, with being so rich, I decided to do some of the trophies related to purchasing things, and to start with, I have to purchase all the hints in the game. So yeah, surprisingly they weren't that expensive, so I could have done this ages ago. We are definitely nearing the end though, as some of the cleanup is finally paying off for some trophies, and to start with, we get one for getting all the gold bricks in A New Hope. Followed up by Empire, of course, and we collect those gold bricks again in Empire and pop another trophy. So that's nice. And then after all that, I have, again, a lot of money, so I decide to purchase every vehicle in the game, which is another trophy. So we're really getting through it now. Still having, like, enough money, I purchased all the characters, which is another trophy. So that's, I think, all the purchasing trophies done. If I'm wrong, sorry. Now I finish up Return of the Jedi's gold bricks and get that trophy, which is the final gold brick, which allows me to build a golden fountain. So I'll quickly explain everything quickly here. Gold bricks are collected throughout the level of finishing stuff and collecting things, blah blah blah. Anyway, when you get them all, you get to build this stud fountain, which just rains infinite studs on you, which is really convenient because I have 2 more trophies before the platinum, and one of them is holding 6 million studs at one time, and the other one is holding 4 billion studs at one time. So let's pop both of those quickly after about 2 hours of standing under that fountain. And then the beautiful number 28 platinum pops, baby. Let's go. So, Lego Star Wars 2. It really does make me miss the old Lego games, and it really makes me hope that we can play them again, whether it's Sony making them available on PS5 or whether they get remastered like the Lego Harry Potter games did. Either way, it was a great trip down memory lane. With that, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, leave a like. It's great support of the channel and shows me that you're enjoying what I'm putting out. Leave a comment on what games you want to see platinum in the future. There are plans for a lot of games. I think the next one's probably going to be the new Indiana Jones game coming out. And yeah, subscribe to see these games be posted. I will try and get them out more frequently. Hopefully you don't have to wait for one a month. It just depends the length of a game, I guess. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you give the game a go and you enjoy the platinum experience. And till next time, see ya.